Hey everybody, my name is Paul Eston Jr., aka Boy Green. I'm the New York Jets digital reporter for Heavy.com, and we are here for our weekly recap. About 2 hours and change after every game, we're live here streaming simultaneously in three different places. The Heavy on Jets Facebook page, my YouTube channel, youtube.com/BoyGreen25, and of course on my Twitter account at BoyGreen25 as well. So guys, feel free to hit us up on any of those platforms. This is an interactive program. So no matter where you're watching, the Twitter, the Facebook, the YouTube, feel free to jump into the comments. We'll get your questions, comments, and answers here on the program. And we're going to dive through this one. Folks, I've got a lot to say, and we'll go through all the things I have to say, as always. What a disgusting effort. At no point, or for quite frankly, a large portion of the game, did I think that the Jets were going to be able to fight out of this. Now, I tweeted at halftime when the Jets were down 11, like, hey, the Jets just came back last week from a 13-point deficit in a minute 55. And leading up into that point, the Jets didn't show really any signs of life outside of sporadic pops here and there that they could be able to do the historic things that they were able to do at the end of that game. So I did tweet that and say, you know what, they're right there if they just do this or they do this. But to be frank, to be candid, to be blunt, man, that was tough to watch offensively and defensively for that matter. I mean, like there is just things all over the place that jump out. Let's go through a couple off the top. The defensive line. I said it earlier this week because on top of this, of course, if you're watching on our Facebook page, Heavy on Jets, again, like and follow wherever you're watching, including YouTube. Like the video, hit subscribe down below for more New York Jets content. Because of our Heavy on Jets schedule, I cannot go live all the time on the Heavy on Jets Facebook page. We do every Sunday, but if you want more Jets content from me, feel free to hit us up again on the YouTube channel where you will never miss anything. Feel free to do that. However, I have to mention a few things here. The defensive line, man. And I said it earlier this week when we were talking about pressure. And wow, the Jets haven't done jack diddly yet. Heading into this game, the Jets defense had 3 sacks total as a team heading into this game. And that was third fewest in the NFL. And a lot of people said, whoa, Joe Burrow is on pace to be sacked 111 times. Weakness? Strength, potentially, maybe the waters finally flip. That was the thought process by a lot of people heading into this game. An X factor, you could say, into this contest. The Jets did not take advantage of said mismatch. Now, quite frankly, they almost doubled their sack total heading into this game. But that's not really saying much since they only had 3. They had 2 sacks today. Sheldon Rankins had the sack low on Joe Burrow, and Quinnen Williams had the sack where he blew past a double team and ate up Joe Burrow for breakfast, which was nice to see. However, it was too few, far, and in between. Carl Lawson, John Franklin Myers, Quinnen Williams, Jacob Martin, and Bryce Huff. Jets, what the hell, man? Bryce Huff inactive for the first 3 games of the season? Now, fine. The Jets coaching staff wants to say through the first 2 weeks, run first teams. We wanted bigger defensive linemen to try to combat that. Fine. Okay. I still think that's stupid because I think Bryce Huff has enough pass rush juice that you need to get this brother on the field. But okay, that's your pitch for the first 2 weeks. But what about this game against the Cincinnati Bengals, a team that throws the football all over the barnyard? You can't find a place for Bryce Huff for a defensive line that, again, checks notes, had 3 sacks on the season heading into this year? What the hell, man? What the hell? You can't use a spark, a little chutzpah, a little juice, a little Brutus beefcake, perhaps? Like, good Lord have mercy. That's frustrating, man. It's frustrating when they don't use a guy like that. So Bryce Huff, by the way, cryogenically frozen. He's lost. And quite frankly, I haven't seen him. If you see him on the side of a milk carton, if you can send in and call your local police department, please, missing persons alert. Where the hell is Bryce Huff? I'd like to know. For his family's sake, where is this man? He's been a healthy scratch for the first 3 weeks of the season. I'd like to know the whereabouts of one Bryce Huff. And I'm sure his family would as well. And so would the Jet fans. Where is this dude? I digress. But you look at all the talent that's on, the supposed talent that's on this unit. All the talent. The draft picks. Quinnen Williams, third overall pick. Impressive. John Frank Lamar's got $55 million last year. Carl Watson got $45 million last year. When you start putting the name, Jacob Martin paid handsomely, Jermaine Johnson, first round pick. When you start going through the gosh darn names and the draft picks and the money and the scheme, which is built around, again, getting after the opposing quarterback, I'm just left scratching my head, man. And that's why, and historically speaking, there has been a mismatch on paper heading into a Jets game. Like, ooh, the Jets should take advantage of this, and they never do. What the hell? So that was frustrating, to be honest. Joe Burrow had all day back there, and even when there was pressure from him being around all day, he just kind of ran away from it and just bloop, touchdown, bloop, big play. Like, where's the pride? Where's the dignity of this gosh darn unit to say, you know what, guys, we need to step up to the gosh darn plate here, okay? And bring something to the table, for Pete's sake. It's frustrating as hell. Frustrating. Incredibly frustrating. These guys are getting paid a lot of money. A lot of draft picks were invested, and they're doing nothing. And I feel so bad, man. You want to know what I feel bad for? I feel bad for Sauce Gardner. I feel bad for DJ Reed. Those men are putting it all out on the line and giving superb effort. A couple of times you get caught. Nature of the beast. But Sauce looks like a freaking stud. DJ Reed has been spectacular. But even the best of corners can only cover for so long. My message? Help a brother out for the love of everything that's holy. So that got me. So edge rush, non-existent. Obviously a big reason the Jets lose this game. How about another? And I'm going to be honest, this is an uncomfortable conversation. So Jet fans, if you're not ready to have it, feel free to leave the room. Feel free to cover your and your children's ears that may be listening to this. Jordan Whitehead's a problem. I thought this guy was going to be all reliable. A guy that would be able to, as Robert Saleh said, provide stability on the back end of the defense. Not the case. I'll tell you, I saw a peek of it, a small slice. Preseason opener, Jets-Eagles, Dallas Goedert. The Eagles do their classic Eagles thing. Dallas Goedert, Jordan Whitehead just kind of hit sticks him. Dallas Goedert bounce off, goes in for a touchdown. And it kind of like, little red flag went, questionable tackling there from one Jordan Whitehead. But I said, it's preseason. What's the big deal? He was heralded as the best tackling safety in football. Those words came out of the mouth of one Leger Douzable. I'm not trying to put Leger on blast here, okay, who's been on our show. But Leger Douzable said best tackling safety in football. You can check out my Twitter. I recently tweeted it out. And it was part of an exchange with Joe Blue from Jets X Factor. The best tackling safety in football, this dude just kind of throws it out there and didn't chop it up, didn't profile, didn't tackle. And that's been a problem throughout this season. And my mind was tunnel vision. No, it's got to be LaMarcus Joyner. He's the one who sucks. Whitehead's good. It's Joyner. I don't care what PFF says. No, it's got to be Joyner. That's what I kept telling myself. It's Whitehead, man, and Joyner. Joyner stinks too. This isn't a Joyner defense podcast, but terrible. I mean, come on, man. So he turned what was, and I broke it down for an article that's up on heavy.com if you guys enjoy reading, left to right, up and down. If you enjoy that sort of thing, feel free to dabble on the heavy.com Jets section. But that play, 3rd and long, Joe Burrow finds Tyler Boyd. Michael Carter II in coverage. In that play, Jordan Whitehead is screaming coming from the top. That's his job, to make sure that a 10 to 15-yard gain is no more than that. Jordan Whitehead comes screaming down and tries to just go on SportsCenter top 10 maybe, be a little Limp Biscuit and just kind of hit him without going through the proper technique. And we know what happened. Tyler Boyd bounced off that lame-ass tackle and went 56 yards to his house. Touchdown. And I think at that moment, a lot of Jet fans went, It was still one possession game, 14-6 at that moment in time. But again, the third down was another big reason the Bengals won this game. But Jordan Whitehead came screaming down and missed the tackle. And he's missed others. But safety's super questionable. And that's why it's an uncomfortable conversation, Jet fans. Because we thought he was going to be reliable. He was not only labeled as the best tackling safety in the NFL, he was labeled perhaps the best steal from one Joe Douglas. How did they get this man for $14.5 million? I say, how do we spend $14.5 million on this guy? Tough. Hopefully he turns it around. But I don't know how all of a sudden you're going to learn the ability to tackle. Maybe it's a Space Jam situation. So someone has stolen his powers to tackle. And if you give him a magical football, he touches it. Whoa, he's perhaps Ronnie Lott. I don't know. I don't know that technology. I would imagine not. So frustrating there. The safety tackling, frustrating. And really offensive line in general, to be honest. I'm going to be honest. Joe Flacco wasn't great back there. Obviously, he was trash. And I believed in Joe Flacco. Now, shame on me. Okay, I take full responsibility. I take full heat for this L. Okay, I played a Joe Flacco in all. And by the way, I don't play any fantasy football just to play around. Like I play to win. Herm Edwards. I play to win the game. And in my league that I care about, because I care about them all, I play Joe Flacco over Aaron Rodgers and Tom Brady. Now, I may be an idiot. That's very possible. But I play Joe Flacco. I'm like, you know what? This is going to be his last start. We'll talk about the Zach Wilson thing. I see the comments are crazy. We'll jump into them. If you want to guarantee that your comment gets answered, go over to youtube.com, hit super chat, and give us a little tip in the can, and you will guarantee that your question gets answered. I try to answer as much as possible, but that's one good way to put it. So super chats always get answered. That's your way to do it. Again, youtube.com/boygreen25. But we'll dive into all the comments here. I'm just going on a weird mini rant to start this post-game show. And it's just incredibly frustrating. But Joe Flacco was terrible. And I thought that, man, because of Zach Wilson's impending return, which, by the way, is supposed to be coming against Pittsburgh, Ian Rappaport said that he's all on track. He looks good to go. Zach Wilson, of course, was down on the sideline, so all that looks good. But I thought Joe Flacco would be motivated. He was not. He was terrible. Bad decisions, immobile, as we knew before. And then the offensive line, George Fant was a turnstile. Then he gets injured. He's out of the game. Connor McDermott. How in the hell does this guy keep finding his way on the field? Good night, man. I know Mekhi Becton goes down. Dwayne Brown goes down. There's only so many tackles you can have. But how is Connor McDermott the best of what you've got? That's my question to the Jets front office. And that's just my question to the greater ethos, I suppose. How does this bastard keep getting on the field? Good Lord have mercy. And Zach Wilson goes back next week. Hoo-wee. I have no idea. No idea. But we will find out. And we'll keep it positive. We'll keep it optimistic, of course, as we turn the page and look forward to Pittsburgh. But before we get there, I think there's a lot to get to. Again, there was a million comments here, so I know I'm already going to miss. And by the way, I thank all of you. By the way, for commenting and getting involved here on the show. Again, to separate yourself, the best way to do it is the YouTube Super Chat, so feel free to do so. You can use any amount of monetary funds to feel free to do that if you have the means, and I'll also just try to bring random ones up. I'll throw this one up as I randomly see them. Mike Thomason on Facebook. Quincy, a couple injuries to note. So we mentioned George Fant, TBD, don't really know. But Quincy, I'm going to be honest, I believe it's season ending. I hate to say that, just kind of saying that sort of thing. But from what I heard on the television broadcast, ankle injury, immediate air cast, towel drenched over his head. Quincy was having the best game of his 2022 season. He was flying around out there. You love the passion. You love the hit stick. You love a lot of what he brings to the table. Not a perfect player by any means, but a guy that really brings some juice. I would imagine he's out for the season. That cart, the way they handled it, how quickly they moved. I hate speaking out of turn, but that one seems really bad. And Quan Alexander likely to step up. And Quan's great, but man, Quincy brings the juice for sure. Let's go to the other veterans. I see Adrian Gutierrez on YouTube. JFM roughing passer call killed the defense when it was 3rd and medium on the play. Let me see if I have it on here in front of me. Yeah, let's see. Excuse me. My notes here during the game. What was the JFM play? I have it as, I think it was 3rd and 6, 3rd and 7 maybe. Oh, maybe this was it. 26-yard line, 3rd and 9. I'm not sure. I don't have it in front of me. But it was 3rd down, obviously, for old JFM. And the Jets get off the field. It's over. The drive's over. And for no good reason, John Franklin Myers shoves Joe Burrow. The play's over, man. The ball is out of his hands. You are just doing that selfishly. And unfortunately, throw it. A drive that was over turns into a touchdown. And then I hear the audacity of JFM after the game telling Connor Hughes, that's who I saw, tweeted out. You know, JFM, I'm paraphrasing. I take ownership for the roughing the passer, but ticky-tacky call. I and Joe Burrow were surprised, according to JFM. I don't give a flying hoot who's surprised. I don't care about ticky-tack this, ticky-tack that. Let's call the brass tacks here. JFM didn't have to do what he did. He went out of his way. And maybe pass rushers get frustrated when they don't get there after a while. And then they have a chance to give them a shot, and they do. Selfish. That's what that is. That is selfish for your team. Your team, the rest of the 10 other guys on that field got the Bengals off the field, and you give the ball right to the Jets. Your selfish act cost the team, man. Cost the team. It cost the team. Frustrating, Adrian. Frustrating. That's tough and annoying. Let's keep going here. We see a couple members. You'll see with the extra little logo here from Kobe is a member of the Boy Green Superfan Club. Feel free for a cup of coffee to support the channel in your own way. Kobe. Hey, Paul. How are you, Kobe? Appreciate you. Let's keep going here. Whitehead's tackling today was trash. Mike Thomason. Absolutely it was. John Stefan, defensive coordinator, has to be accountable. Yeah, I mean, Jeff Ulbrich. The problem was too often, and we'll get into the Quinnen Williams thing, which another, we'll play all that action here. We'll play the videos from my Twitter account, and we'll do that in a second. But, you know, it just seemed like he did the wrong thing at the wrong time. There were times where he all-out blitzed, didn't work. There was times he went to a 3 or 4 man rush, didn't work. It was very inconsistent. Again, the Jets had 2 sacks in this game, but again, they could have, should have, would have had more. They should have done more. They should have dominated this game, which would have been the telltale, like the Titans game last year, where they had like 7 sacks. That was key. And unfortunately, for whatever reason, it did not. I'm going to tweet this out right now, thanks to Marina, who is a part of our heavy team. I just tweeted this out. We're going to show it for you guys on the screen about the encounter. If you guys were watching the CBS broadcast, I know a lot of you go to the game, so maybe you didn't see this, but I'm sure you heard about it. Quinnen Williams and defensive line coach Aaron Whitecotton got into quite the outburst during the game, and it was intense. And I'm going to be honest, I've never seen Quinnen Williams react in this way in my life, but we're going to throw it up here on the big screen. And thank you for the question, John. We're going to throw it up on the big screen so you guys could see it in case you missed it. On one Quinnen Williams exploding on defensive line coach Aaron Whitecotton on the sideline. Here we go. Let's put it up on the big screen here, and we will watch this. Okay. And that is Quinnen Williams getting in the face of one Aaron Whitecotton with a few expletives sprinkled into the mix. Again, that is Quinnen Williams here. Again, yelling at defensive line coach Aaron Whitecotton. Now, we didn't really know what it was all about, to be honest with you, until we got to the after effects of the game. I'm going to play this one so you guys can kind of hear the audio here. So I'm going to play a different clip, but it's of the same thing here. You guys will see this on the screen. Here you go.
Ready, including Logan Wilson, and this was during the break in the action, as the Jets' Quinnen Williams was sharing his opinion.
He sure did share his opinion, and apparently that's what Robert Saleh said had happened after the game. So we're going to bring up something else for you guys here so you can see it. This is Robert Saleh after the game, of course, asked about the exchange between the two as I kind of scroll up here So you guys can get that clip as well. And here it is. Yeah, here is Robert Saleh. We're going to play the whole clip for you. It's about 48 seconds. Robert Saleh was asked about the Quinnen Williams exchange with defensive line coach Aaron Whitecotton, and I'll just let you guys be the judge.
With Quinnen and Aaron on the sideline?
Quinnen, it was after the we sent a pressure, which led to that 60-yard touchdown, and Quinnen's a competitor. He was challenging for a 4-man rush, and he just wanted the rush 4 so he can get an opportunity to win his one-on-one. And so I love the fire. I love all of it. Obviously, we don't need him to go drawing at each other, but he's being competitive, and so he was fine. Quinnen wanted a 4-man rush.
And you guys
and it was after that he was challenging us as coaches to give him his 4-man rush so he can go his one-on-one, which deservedly he's not wrong. Challenge us and he's fine.
So just interesting. Those are the comments again of head coach Robert Saleh, again, after all of this, where, quite frankly, Quinnen Williams is barking at Aaron Whitecotton. And we know what happened after the fact, of course. The Jets sent the house on that third down play we talked about earlier, where Tyler Boyd caught about a 10-ish yard completion. Would have been a first down. Michael Carter II's in coverage, and Jordan Whitehead screaming down. He misses the tackle. Tyler Boyd bounces off the tackle, gathers himself, and takes it to the house. It was a 56-yard touchdown for Tyler Boyd and the Cincinnati Bengals. Quinnen said, man, we should have been playing coverage and let me win my one-on-one matchup. The Jets coach obviously disagreed, and that led to the barking on the side. I will say this. I like Quinnen showing some explosiveness. I had not seen that level of explosiveness, which did lead to jokes on Twitter because I haven't seen it either, Paul. Good one. Well, nonetheless, I like to see the fire from Quinnen. It's awesome. It's cool. But quite frankly, we need to see it on the field consistently, and especially for Quinnen, who wants a contract. He wants a new deal, and there's only one way to do that. So really frustrated. This is really, I am a guy, for those who are new to the channel, you're just hearing my pipes for the very first time. By the way, thanks for stopping by again. Support the channel, comment in, like the video, hit subscribe for whatever you'd like. I appreciate it. I'm an optimistic guy. I'm a glass half full. That's how I see life. I feel like we don't control the cards that we're dealt in life, but we can control how we handle it. So for the most part, I am a upbeat, outgoing, loud, obviously, obnoxiously, Jets fan media guy, and I just try to call it how I see it. And here is just, it feels like a lot of venting is necessary after this one. Okay, let's keep going here. Kobe again, for those who may have missed it, Robert Saleh did not confirm this after the game. He said that Zach Wilson is expected to play against Pittsburgh, but he wants to wait for the doctors before he says anything. But according to everybody that we know, Ian Rappaport among them, Zach Wilson is fully expected to play against Pittsburgh, and everything looks great. So if for some reason that does not happen, there was some sort of setback. And it does not seem like there was that here for this, which is great. So Wilson does have to play against Pittsburgh. They do not TJ Watt. Great news. They do have one of the most dynamic playmakers in the NFL, Minkah Fitzpatrick, on the back end. So Zach Wilson will have to be careful. And there's no rose petals here. There's no peaches and rainbows for Zach Wilson. So there's no way. Maybe they're going to run the football a lot to try to work him into the game. Maybe it's all guns a-blazing because, again, the Jets said, and they were adamant, they will not play Zach Wilson until he's 110%. So maybe this is like the season opener for him in theory because, again, he's not played in 2022. And maybe Zach Wilson just balls out immediately and he's throwing the ball over the barnyard. But I would assume that they're very cautious. They run the ball, and they should because, up until this game, they had done a very good job of just running the football. The Jets ran the ball fairly well in this game. Or at least it seemed that way in terms of the combination. Yeah, let's see. Wow. Equally, both Breece Hall and Michael Carter each had 39 yards apiece. Breece Hall contributed another 6 catches, 53 yards through the air. Michael Carter only 1 catch, 7 yards through the air. So that was interesting. They kind of shared that workload between the two, but leaning more towards Hall in this one as opposed to Carter in the past. So each of them 39 yards. So 76 yards in totality. Braxton Berrios had that weird -2 yards on the sweep. So 3.8 per carry, that's terrible. But heading into this game, they had done a really good job of running the football and getting some juice. But for whatever reason, the Jets led the league in passing attempts coming into this game. And again, because they were not running the football effectively or with volume, rather, in this. So I think maybe that's what we see. We'll get more Zach Wilson stuff next week on the channel. If you guys are looking for that, we'll give you a lot of that for sure, and optimism and looking forward and all that jazz. So feel free to make sure you hit up the YouTube channel. Okay, let's keep it going here. Wherever your comments are, feel free to get them in. Keep it simple, RC. Let's get to this. This is interesting. Something has to change. Saleh can't handicap this team with his blind loyalty to his veterans. That was the interesting part, because there was a narrative made about the Jets heading into this year that they're a young team. They've got a lot of youngsters in key positions: Elijah Moore, Garrett Wilson, Breece Hall, Michael Carter, Sauce Gardner, Jermaine Johnson, blah, 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 blah. You go through all these guys, there's young guys. But funny enough, the people that are boning the Jets are the veterans. John Franklin Myers with the roughing the passer, keeps the drive alive, Bengals touchdown. And I know a lot of people miss this because of the CBS messing up and the Sunday Ticket trying to help out as well, that we missed a lot of the back end of the game, which a lot of Jet fans were like, well, we didn't miss much anyway. Corey Davis had a personal, an extracurricular activity, apparently grabbed a helmet of the other team. I missed it as they were kind of messing around with everything. But again, the veterans are the one that doing the dumb things. Like, they're supposed to be it's the youngsters, if any, are going to make the dumb mistakes of getting caught up in the heat of the moment. For instance, I thought Sauce Gardner did a really good job of obviously covering Jamar Chase, which Jamar Chase, by the way, finished with 6 catches, 29 yards, and a touchdown. Last year, Sauce was not on the team, of course, but 3 catches around 32 yards. So Jamar Chase was completely contained in the 2 games against the Jets, which I find interesting. But Sauce seemed to be getting under his head as he was kind of pumping up the crowd. Jamar was trying to slap him and mess around with him. So the youngster getting in Jamar Chase's head, which is interesting. I mean, Jamar Chase is also young, obviously. He's only in his 2nd year, but I found that interesting. But to your point, keep it simple. What do they do? Do you bench Corey? Do you bench JFM? Like, do you send some sort of message? I'm not sure the lengths that you go, but it's unacceptable. I will say it seemed. I have to say seemed, because we need to see what it results into. He called out Jordan Whitehead for the poor tackling. He called out JFM. He called out Corey Davis. So there's a lot of like Saleh showing a little bit of vitriol, showing a little bit of intensity, showing a little bit of extracurricular after, like going, man, this guy. And it didn't just seem like a blame game. Like, he was certainly taking a lot of pressure himself, but that was perhaps the most colorful I've seen of him attacking other players, which maybe is a good thing. I don't know. But we do need to see something change. There has to be some level of that, I think. J.E., another one which we talked about earlier. Where is Carl Lawson? J.E. beats me. Now, I will say this, and take this for what you will. Carl Lawson obviously coming off a ruptured Achilles, and it takes athletes different times to do different things. I know Cam Akers came back, but he hasn't been as explosive heading into the playoffs last year. I remember Kobe, when he ruptured his Achilles, I was at that game. I think that was against Atlanta. And again, just some athletes just never are the same after. I think Carl Lawson's looked explosive, like on paper to me, like, whoa, look at that guy. But again, it's a results-oriented business, and we need to see him making plays. And unfortunately, he has not so far. He only has that 1 half sack on the season. Oh, yes, Jay Spector, yes. Dare we not forget the drop pick. And really, I think this is an opportunity, Jay. Thank you so much for bringing this up on YouTube. It's an opportunity to talk about the missed opportunities. So Joe Flacco throws a horrible interception. There's no other way to put it. To Braxton Berrios in triple coverage. Logan Wilson, the Bengals linebacker, intercepts it, and he's trying to go to the crib. So he's running all over the place. And smart, heady play by George Fant, who's looking for the ball as Logan Wilson's going, and he, booyah, almost Charles Peanut Tillman punches that ball free, and it skedaddles, okay, and it shakes free. This is a way for the Jets to jump back on it. They would get a first down by virtue of the changing of possessions. And, oh, great, wow, they're going to jump on a fumble. Oh, Bengals fall on it. Not great. Oblong-shaped football. You hope it bounces the Jets way every once in a while. And then you go to the ball, it gets tipped up. Jordan Whitehead, whoa. Dude, catch a freaking ball, man. It was right in your mitts. Like, that's what needs to happen, especially when you have a backup quarterback in. But Zach Wilson is expected to return next week. And even for him, give your offense short fields to work with. Like, help a brother out. Jerry Maguire, help me, help you. give us turnovers, and that will make it easier, in theory, on the offense to score freaking points. So much meat left on the bone. That's just the best way to describe it, Jay, and thank you for bringing it up. There's a lot to get. I've got a lot of notes here, but that is certainly one of them. Like, what the hell? Brutal. The Jets don't just seem to get crap for that, so. Let's see. So another scary one, right, in terms of the injuries. Garrett Wilson, obviously, gets, whacked bad. And it was tough. He gets whacked really bad, and he was down on the turf. It's the second straight week that Garrett got annihilated by something, whether going up vertically in the Browns game or this one where he just gets whacked. He ended up coming back into the game and making a few plays, but boy, he's just so, I don't want to say frail, but he's not 6'6", 250. So, man, your quarterback's got to help you out, man. Get it low and try so he could catch it and fall to the ground. But Jesse Bates came like a screaming banshee and lit him up like a Christmas tree. Like, boy. So some of those were scary. He came back in the game, thank goodness. Let's go June, the GM. We look unprepared. In reality, we should be 0-3. Now, I will say this, June, and there's a lot of people who are going to say exactly what you said, and there are people that have already lit me up on social media about it. I'll say this. They should be 0-3. Again, they had to rely on a miraculous comeback that hadn't happened in 21 years and to the same team. But it didn't. But, they're not 0-3. I will say this. If they are 1-7, 1-8, 1-9, now fine. Then, obviously, you could say, wow, cheap win. They could be winless right now. Fine. You could say that. But after one game, I'm not willing to then say they're 1-2 right now, which a lot of people had them worse than that. They won the game. They won the game. And while they needed a lot of things, it's not as if, like the onside kick, they had to execute that. The Corey Davis touchdown was a broken play, but he had to catch it. He could have dropped it. We've seen a lot of Jets drop important balls. 2015, Week 17, Kembrell Tompkins, if I may, to bring up a horrible memory. So they had to do it. And then they had to score the other touchdown to win the game. So, as lucky and everything they needed, they went and seized the day. The Browns blew it, but the Jets seized it. I want that to be clear. So if the Jets turn around and beat a Pittsburgh team, which, by the way, folks, is eminently winnable. I get it's in Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh defense is tough. Mitch Trubisky sucks. And Mike Tomlin, by the way, came out and said there is no chance in blue hell that we're going to Kenny Pickett, which, by the way, would be a rookie. So either way, you got to feel good. Now, I just hope that this defense shows up so Mitch Trubisky doesn't look like the second coming to Joe Montana next week. But again, it's Pittsburgh. It's not your grandpa's Pittsburgh. I used to walk up the hill both ways with that steel curtain, with that Steelers jacket on my back. No, it's a Mitch Trubisky Steelers team with an inefficient Najee Harris who has to eat like 50 carries to do anything. The defense is good, and I'll give them that. They are good. But the Jets got to show up, man. This Pittsburgh game is not some impossible feat. And then you got to play a Miami team, which, by the way, Miami taking care of Buffalo. Now, you could throw another one where Buffalo blew some things or injured or blah, blah, blah excuse. The Dolphins won the game. They're 3-0. So they're looking at that Jets game like, tasty. So we'll see what happens. But this game, next one up, Pittsburgh, I think there's some chances. All right, let's keep going here. You guys can keep commenting no matter where you're watching. I see we're quite behind, so I'll try to get to as many of these as possible. Jimmy Sags, let's get to this one on Facebook. How do we not sign another tackle for depth? This is the thing, Jimmy, that quite frankly gets me. I don't understand. The Jets were looking at one Dwayne Brown when Mekhi Becton was still healthy. Mekhi and George Fant were the starters, both healthy. Jets are looking at Dwayne Brown. What that says to me is, we need a veteran insurance policy. They didn't have a crystal ball. They didn't know Mekhi was going to get injured. They just wanted a guy just in case. Now, Mekhi goes down, and then they have to run and sprint to secure Dwayne Brown. They had no other choice. But you would think if you were dabbling in the Dwayne Brown waters prior to Mekhi getting injured, that perhaps you should still go find that veteran tackle. Now, people are going to say, well, what are the options? Well, they got to be better than Connor McDermott, I'd imagine. Eric Fisher's still hanging out there. Darrell Williams is still hanging out there. I don't know. I'm not the GM, but shoot, Somebody, for Pete's sake. So, Jimmy, how did we not sign him? Beats me, pal. I would have done it in Madden, but I'm not running this franchise. As Kobe says, a friendly reminder, make sure you like and subscribe. Make sure you jump in the chat as well. Again, youtube.com/BoyGreen25 for all kinds of New York Jets content. Feel free. We have Alex Kozora of the Pittsburgh Steelers. He'll be joining us on the show tomorrow, but that will be playing later this week. So stay tuned for that, and a couple of live streams as well. Let's keep going here. Oh yeah, so I do want to just kind of mention this. There was some confusion on the Fant thing that I want to get to. So George Fant went out of the game. Connor Hughes tweeted, and he joined us on the show just a couple weeks ago, that, oh wow, George Fant got benched for Connor McDermott. I want to address that that's not true. Well, not true. I could only base it off what the coach told us. Coach said that George Fant got injured during the game, and they took him out, and that's why Connor McDermott went in. So, according to the coach, no benching, although Fant was not playing well, no benching. Connor McDermott went in for a real reason. Like, it was not benched for play. So, take that for what you will. I want to make sure I got that out there. I saw a lot of confusion on that on social media. Okay, what do we got here? Let me make sure I get to my notes also. Feel free to comment wherever you guys are. And feel free. I will say, LaMarcus Jordan, I'll give him one tip of the cap. The nice breakup of the Jamar Chase play at the beginning of the game. Shout out there. Jermaine Johnson in run defense a couple of times popped for me. But obviously the third downs were gross, quite frankly. Let's give the third down numbers here. What did those finish off as? I'm going to be disappointed with the number, I know. It was bad. It was really bad. Let's see. Third down efficiency. Bengals, 50%, 7 of 14. Jets, 7 of 18. Jets had 10 more plays. That kind of makes sense as they were trying to work their way back. It was just really an ugly game. Yards per play on both sides, 5 and 4.3. Well, the Jets' run defense was back. I know we had the receipt of when Matthew Berry says, Joe Mixon, top 5 running back play. Well, Joe Mixon sucked. So the Jets' run defense, elite against Baltimore, questionable against Cleveland, elite against Cincinnati. So if you want some silver linings, I'm not a moral cookie guy. However, run defense, not bad. Sauce Gardner, Zach Wilson coming back, those are a couple goods. You got to squint a little in a game that you lose. Check Snow's 27-12. Oh, Greg Zuerlein, there you go. Little field goal action. Who thought we didn't have a kicker? Ha ha ha! 4 field goals, baby. That's right. No touchdowns though. So sorry if that's what you were looking for at MetLife Stadium. Let's see. Oh, we just have a super chat coming in. All right. Jets NY 102, which again, guys, if you have no idea what a super chat is, you see his little chat is in a different color, and he's throwing $1.99 in the tip jar, if you will. If you enjoy the content, feel free. Even if you don't enjoy the content, you still want to throw some in. That's cool too. I'll read your insults, almost like a cameo roast, if you will. But feel free to do that on YouTube. Tired of seeing a high school defensive scheme. Yeah, that's the thing that frustrates me, Jets, NY102. And thank you so much for your support on the channel. I just don't get with this level of like last year, we said, a bunch of guys are injured. Like, okay, first year, the scheme. This year, there's talent all over the place. They have money, draft picks, second year, the scheme. Like, why the hell isn't it not working? So it is pathetic, and it's frustrating when these guys have all the time in the world. Like the Bengals, I was told by Bengals people heading into this game, our pass rush stinks. We have Trey Hendrickson and a bunch of other guys. But the Bengals were running all over the Jets in terms of their offensive line and giving them all kinds of wreaking havoc. Where the hell were the Jets? Trash. Absolute trash. Yes, Thomas Smith. Mims was a healthy scratch again. They believe he cannot contribute on special teams. So the only way that he is not a healthy scratch is if Corey Davis or the like is injured heading into a game, not in the middle of a game. Will he be unlocked from his cryogenically frozen chamber? That is the take. And I know a lot of you guys are not fans of that. June the GM, what is Wilson supposed to do with this terrible offensive line? You got to hope they have a Cleveland Browns performance where they played and bounced back. Fant's health obviously would be a big factor there, man. If Fant is out for any length of we have no idea, by the way. We should get an update on Monday. But if Fant is out for any significant amount of time, I hope they make a move. Now, there's no one to trade for. People don't trade good offensive linemen, so it's a signing situation. And again, whoever you sign on a week's notice is going to be able to play. I don't know, man. There's a lot of bad here. But Zach, the good thing, though, I will tell you, June, that I can strongly say with the level of conviction is Zach Wilson is mobile. Joe Flacco has the mobility of a parked car. He can't go anywhere. He's a Statue of Liberty back there. Zach Wilson got some movement. Look at all the tape from last year with Zach Wilson. There's immediate pressure on his face. He gives him a little shake and bake, discount, whoop, and then they're falling on the ground. He escapes out of the pocket, cuts the field in half, makes some magic. So I think, quite frankly, Zach Wilson back there will be better than Joe Flacco, bluntly, besides all the other stuff that'll happen. Ooh, let's bring up another one, another missed opportunity. Breece Hall has a bad drop. I think it's on both. Breece has to catch the ball, obviously, of course. It's not a Breece Hall apology tour. It's Joe Flacco. If he hits him on the wheel with a better ball, that's a touchdown. Breece drops it, plain and simple, but both messed it up on that play. Could have been a touchdown. Again, a lot of woulda, coulda, shouldas, unfortunately, and that's not what you want to be after the game. Let's see. I'm seeing a lot of Saleh. A lot of people hate, not fans of Saleh. Yep. Yeah, let's throw another one up there. How about Kyle Benjamin on Facebook? Get Elijah Moore the goddamn ball. Again, I'm just watching the game. I'm like, well, Elijah's up and out. And the thing I don't get, and this is where the excuses kind of get tired. So Elijah Moore has not popped yet this season. He's had 50 yards a game, something like that, 4 or 5 catches, 50 yards in all these games. But Saleh says, supposedly, and this is his comments last week, that he wasn't asked about this in today's postgame. But Elijah Moore is the 1 or 2 progression on every play. What that means is he's the first or second guy they look to on every passing play, is what Mike LaFleur and both Robert Saleh said. If that's the case, I just don't understand how he keeps getting wide open and then they just don't see him. Because if he's part of the progression in the 1 or 2, then he's got to be someone you're looking at almost every play. So it doesn't make sense that you could keep missing him. So that excuse grows tired on me because Elijah Moore is getting open. And he didn't create a lot of separation today. The advanced analytics had him below the NFL average. But the 4th and 5 play where you throw up a ball to him in double coverage, he could have, should have, would have had it. Would have been a tough catch in the red zone. That's another touchdown missed opportunity. But, man, they got to feed him the ball, especially when Garrett Wilson is out. That doesn't make any sense. Feed him the ball. He's a talented player. Frustrating. Very frustrating. So, hopefully they fix that. That's just tough. That's tough. He should be getting a lot more opportunities. Yep, Joey went on a rant earlier. Yeah, give Bryce Huff reps. What do you have to lose? Your defensive line isn't doing crap, man. Give him some run. Terrible. Richie B, it's still Ahmad. He hasn't earned the nickname yet. Although, on Rich Eisen's show, C.J. Mosley and Carl Lawson were 2 of the captains in particular that told Ahmad Gardner, the 4th overall pick out of Cincinnati, hey, if you want us to call you Sauce, you better make a play. I think Carl said make a play in the preseason. I think C.J. Mosley said make a play during the season. And it was in the preseason after the first Baltimore game that C.J. Mosley called him Sauce and went, Sauce. And they went, whoa, wow, it came up quick. But to me, I'm okay calling him Sauce. Maybe you wait for a pick if you want, but I got to tell you that the old Sauce, he looked elite out there. He was doing some business. The great breakup on the T. Higgins play, that was nice. That was very nice. All right, I'm going to skip down here and I'll work back up because I see a super chat just came in on YouTube, which again, guys, feel free to take advantage of these opportunities. Oh, we have another one here. Just Jeff Betts throwing it in. Jeff, make sure you throw in a comment so I can see it, but I appreciate just the tip in general. Thank you so much for the support again, everybody. The YouTube super chat is a great way to do it. Let's keep going here. I know there was another super chat. We have hundreds. Oh, here we go. Oh, here's Jeff Betts' comment. Elijah Moore catches the ball with his body. In the NFL, you have to snatch it. Why do they not coach him this? Poor hands. Yeah, Miles Austin, who, by the way, I really loved him during his career. And thank you, Jeff, for the donations to the show. Really appreciate it. Helps us do what we do. So, everybody, thank you so much. Moore catches the ball with his body. In the NFL, you have to snatch it. Why do they not coach him this? Hopefully they are, and it's just, again, situational awareness on some of these plays, because Miles Austin is a guy that always caught with his hands. So I don't know if he's trying to make something happen and doing too much. I'm not sure. I'm not sure, Jeff. I don't think there's a perfect answer to this, unfortunately, but they need to get him the ball more, and he needs to catch a ball. There's been a couple of contested catch opportunities. He just hasn't been able to haul in, and if he's the superstar wide receiver, a lot of people believe he is, got to make those plays. He's got to help out the team. So that is 100%. J.E., interesting. Elijah Moore is a number 3 wide receiver. Overrated. Wow. You see difference between Garrett Wilson, a huge gap. J.E., I'm going to be honest. I feel like this is straight disrespect, my man. The difference, of course there is. Checks notes. Garrett Wilson was the number 10 overall pick in the draft. Elijah Moore was the 34th overall pick. He was the second rounder. Different expectations, my man. They're different because one was drafted higher. One is more talented. Clearly, Elijah Moore was never considered with the number 10 overall pick. That just wasn't true. So, like, yeah, there's a difference. But, I mean, because there should be. I don't think we have to go to the other side of the... So there's a lot of people talking him up. But I don't think we're going to go to the other side, just trash the guy, say he's overrated. That, J.E., you know, I love you, buddy. But there's just no way I'm endorsing that content here on the show. It's malarkey. Absolute nonsense. We're 3 games into the season, man. And the quarterback play has been a backup quarterback. So we can't properly judge this young man. Let's see with Zach Wilson. If he's dropping the ball all over the place, and we'll revisit this, J.E., and maybe you could freeze and cold takes my ass and give me some chutzpah. But I'm not ready to go there. Not ready to go there. Jin Pak, we can beat Pitt. 100% we can. I 100% believe it. I 100% believe it. I believe they can. Pittsburgh, again, no TJ Watt in this game. That's decided. They do have Minkah Fitzpatrick, who's really good. You have Highsmith, who's really talented. Alex Highsmith. They got some defenders, man. They got some defenders. But, again, the offense is nothing to worry about. They got a lot of weapons, but it's like a Ferrari without an engine. Like, sure, Deontay Johnson, George Pickett's like one of the greatest catches of all time, and Chase Claypool's pretty good, but Mitch Trubisky is operating. That engine ain't there. It's a nice, sexy-looking Ferrari. Then you put up the hood. You go, what the hell? There's nothing in here. You could get after Mitch Trubisky. Pitt is a winnable game. Bethpage Chris. Paul, I believe the other team has scored in every opening possession. Why are we such slow starters? And that dates back quite some time. Outside of Adam Gase, who, by the way, was very good with scripted action. Not quite the same here with the New York Jets. The other team, excuse me. Yes, the other team has scored in every opening possession. Why are we such slow starters from that point of view? Which, by the way, offensively also slow starters from that standpoint. But defensively speaking. Well, I mean, the biggest thing, I got to be honest, Bethpage Chris, and great name, by the way, is third downs. Third downs. On the opening drive, the New York Jets they faced a 3rd and 9, 3rd and 8, and 3rd and long, 3rd and goal. 3 3rd and long conversions. You got to get off the field. That's what it comes down to, Beth. You need to get off the gosh darn field. There's no excuses. I don't care what you do. Again, Robert Saleh said on third downs, they like to get creative. They can man up, do exotic blitz schemes. I don't give a flying hoot what you do. Exotic blitz schemes, zone, cover 0, maybe not that one, Greg Williams. Cover 3, cover 2, cover 1, cover 4. I don't give a hoot what you do. Get off the field. Get off the field and figure it out. So that's just the opening drive. 3 3rd and longs. Cash money. They score a touchdown. So to me, I think the biggest thing is third downs. And that's where the Jets have really boned it. That's where they've really messed up. That's it. So I really feel that way. Raw Power. How can you think Pittsburgh is a winnable game? No evidence of that. Will we be favored? Absolutely not. There's no reason the Jets will be favored in that game. Pittsburgh, I imagine, will be favored in that game. Pittsburgh has a win just like the Jets do. And they lost to New England and then Cleveland. So, yeah, they're 1-2 as well. So, 2 1-2 teams playing off against each other, and they're at home. So, no, the Steelers will be favored. But how is it winnable? Again, I reiterate my points that this is a quarterback-driven league, and Mitch Trubisky is a crappy quarterback. That's it. And also, the Jets won a game. So, the winnable aspect of this is a game that can be had. This isn't Kansas City. This isn't Patrick Mahomes. We shouldn't lower the standard of excellence because of the team. We shouldn't say, you know what, we're okay with this. when it's this. You have to have higher expectations for yourself and, quite frankly, the team. So it is 100% winnable. Raw power. I know the team has beaten you up over the years, for Pete's sake. You know, it's not over. It's not over. We're in week 3, people. It's not ideal. There's a lot not to like. Let's see. TA, the Jets suck and shouldn't expect to win any games. Jesus, you people are intense, man. I see there's hundreds of you in the room, which is phenomenal. And by the way, thank you so much for all the love here. But people need to get off the ledge for Pete's sake. How can anyone still be a Jets fan? TA is dropping bombs left and right. Well, I will tell you, and I maintain this as both Jets fan and media member working for the Heavy on Jets team. And again, I think being a fan gives you a different perspective. You see things a little clearer, at least in my head. That even through all the tough times, 1 winning season, 11 years, longest active playoff drought in the NFL, when the Jets win, the berry will be so sweet. It will be worth all the trying times, just like this. I truly believe that. Again, that's my mentality. Hope the rest of you can share the same. J.E., I hope Zach Wilson gives us a spark. How could he possibly not? I mean, honestly, how could he not? It's got to be better by default than Joe Flacco. Another super chat coming in, which, by the way, thank you guys so much for committing to the channel. Is CJ Uzomah a waste of $20,000? Chris, I wish it was $20,000. I know there was a typo, and it was $24 million for those counting at home. 3 years, $24 million. Yeah, CJ, I'm going to be honest. I thought he was a lock it in. If I was a betting man, and I am no longer. I sometimes dabble with some bets, but not normally. CJ Uzomah I only remember the one catch, and that was it. The one catch for 5 yards, 1 target. Although he's supposed to be a really good run blocker, but you don't pay a run blocking tight end $24 million. So honestly, yeah, it's rough. I'll be honest, that's an L I'm willing to take right now, although there's a lot of season left, of course. That's one I liked. I love CJ. I saw him from afar. I didn't really study the pure career stats on a guy like Uzomah, but but when I saw the final stats of Uzomah, like Tyler Conklin's last year in Minnesota before he came here is better than any year CJ Uzomah has ever had in his 7 years in Cincinnati. So yes, $24 million, sure. At this point, it does not look great. They invested $45 million into the position, and I thought at the time, like, wow, what a great value, because look at, like, David Njoku went for over $50 million. Hunter Henry went for $50 million. Jonnu Smith went for $50 million. Like, wow, we got 2 guys for the price of 1 and even less than that. But unfortunately, with injuries and just him not doing anything, it's been a tough watch, Chris. It's been a tough watch. So if you want to call it a waste right now, I will not stop you. I will not stop you from that standpoint. And Tyler Conklin got a lot of garbage stats. So that's good. And he didn't fumble in this game. So he broke a streak. He had fumbled in 2 straight games. He stopped the buck at 3. Said, no, sir. I'm not doing a 3rd game this time. Daniel Faust, excuse me. Why did Quinnen call it the coaches? We talked about this a little bit earlier, Daniel, but we can recap it for anyone who missed it. Quinnen Williams, apparently, on the 56-yard Tyler Boyd touchdown, Jordan Whitehead missed that tackle. Quinnen, before the 3rd down, went up to the coaches and said, hey, I want a 4-man rush. I got a 1-on-1. We can win it. Play coverage on the back end. We'll be good. Coaches say, screw you, pal. We're the coaches. We're going all-out blitz. That frustrated Quinnen, but he said, okay, you're the coaches. I'm the player. Of course, it ends up being the 56-yard touchdown. After, which was the CBS broadcast that we caught, Quinnen Williams was barking at defensive line coach Aaron Whitecotton, sharing his displeasure with that call. Robert Saleh, after the game, provided those intimate details. And I've got my story posting on our Facebook page at 8 o'clock. You guys could check it out, Heavy on Jets, right now on the Quinnen Williams story and some cool details about that. But that's what he called him out for. Robert Saleh said he loved the passion from Quinnen Williams, and he's a competitor, he described it, but said he can't be jawing at your coach like that or jawing at each other, however you want to describe that. So tough there from old Quinnen. But I like seeing the explosion personally. Like, you don't want it to get into fisticuffs, of course. But I love seeing the fire because I've not seen Quinnen Williams like that. He's a pretty, I don't know him personally, so I'm just judging based on things that we've picked up. But to be honest, He's been a very lackadaisical kind of like, hey, everybody, just a gee willikers. I love being here kind of guy. So I haven't really seen a lot of the fire of just coming out and just, lashing out left and right, going, exploding like he did. So I like the fire, but of course my retort to that would be, Quinnen, let's use some of that energy on the field, man. And he had a nice sack where, he blew through a double team, looked great. If he could do that on a more consistent basis, then, well, maybe the Jets would be somewhere. All right, guys, get your final super chats in. Again, we're going to be going off here in a few minutes, so I want to get any of your final thoughts. Also share any of mine as well. Again, the two headline pieces, as we'll reiterate as you guys are sending in your final comments to get answered on the postgame show, which, by the way, every single game day, we go live here on my YouTube channel, my Twitter account, and our Heavy on Jets Facebook page. About 2 hours after every game. It's sometimes it could be a little more than that, but normally about 2 hours-ish after the game. So make sure you bookmark us so you never miss a post-game show. These are always fun with you guys. And I know I got a little crazy at first. I kind of calmed down as I've gone through the hour. But Robert Saleh called out several veterans, Corey Davis, John Franklin Myers, and Jordan Whitehead for their mental mistakes and said, we got to fix it ASAP and we got to see it. And the other one was Quinnen Williams, again, calling out the coaches, challenging the coaches is the word Robert Saleh used, which he welcomed the challenge and said he was right. And then I think he saw the road that it was going and stopped himself. However, he said he did not want to see that jawing moving forward. So, again, let's kind of bring it all home here as we're waiting for any final comments to come through. Jets lose this one, of course, 27-12. Tough day at the office. The offense looked terrible. The defense got pushed around. They showed moments in the red zone of holding on to field goals, which was nice. But ultimately, it was a lackluster effort. A game that the Bengals kept trying to put the Jets in, but the Jets never seized it. And now they're 1-2. I think a lot of people had them at 1-2 or 0-3 at this point. So everything is still in front of the New York Jets with whatever they choose to want from that standpoint. But it's up to the Jets. They have some people apparently are disagreeing. I believe Week 4 is an eminently winnable game against Pittsburgh, and we have to see what Zach Wilson provides from that standpoint. That's what we got to see. The offense is led by a questionable quarterback in Mitch Trubisky. Is not very good, and then the backup, if they even went to him, would be, of course, Kenny Pickett. So, you know what? I think it's a winnable game. We're going to have to keep reviewing the tape on this one. This was a tough one, no question about it. Bengals are a talented team, but so are the Jets, and they did not show up for this. I've heard people claim the coaching's an issue, the general managership's an issue. I just know that the pass rush is an issue, an absolute issue, and they need to fix it ASAP if they're going to have any hope this season. I see a lot of Dolphins fans in here, so let me bring you up. Dolphins, cheers to you, man. In Miami, beating Buffalo, a Buffalo team that without Micah Hyde, without a lot of talent, but they are the ones, and I got to give all the credit in the world to the Fish, quite frankly, bluntly. Who cares about the circumstance? The Dolphins, man, hey, bow down to you guys. Well, some incredible wins, the incredible Baltimore win, the Buffalo win. A lot of people said Buffalo's going undefeated. They're going to run the table. And the Miami Dolphins said not so fast. So I'll be great yelling at Dolphins fan Week 5 as we bring in Brian Miller, my good buddy, on for that Week 5 matchup. So Jersey Dolphins, I'll see you then, brother, for that. But for now, salute the Dolphins. God bless. Wow, impressive win against the Buffalo Bills, who ran just out of time there, couldn't get out of bounds, so questionable. It was very Cowboys 49ers-ish as they ran out of time for the playoffs last year. But salute to the Dolphins. I have nothing but salute and honor. Wow, the Dolphins, what a statement win. Back-to-back statement wins, and really back-to-back-to-back statement wins. The New England win, everyone says New England's toast, but look at the Dolphins. Boom. Baltimore. Boom. Buffalo. Boom. Miami's here. Let's see how they respond to it. So cheers to all the Dolphins. I saw it's cool that all you Dolphin fans love us so much that you're hopping in here, which I appreciate. But thank you. And Chris, I saw this last one come in. Thanks for breaking it down. Love what you're doing, Chris. Means a lot, brother. Thank you so much. And again, we're here multiple days every week, and my shackles are about to be off. One of my other jobs, I'm a sports talk radio host. I do stuff with the Syracuse Mets, and their season ends on Wednesday. So as soon as those shackles come off, we'll be doing more live streams, more interviews, more videos on youtube.com/boygreen25. So I hope you guys can stay tuned and enjoy all of that fun content that's going to be coming. Again, we got a Steelers interview for next week already booked. I'm looking forward to that, and there's going to be a lot of great stuff. So, guys, I love it. Thank you so much for the love. I've seen a lot of people saying, like Michael LaMountain saying, just subscribed. I love it. Guys, make sure you subscribe. That's my final plea. YouTube.com/BoyGreen25. Thank you so much for tuning in, everybody. Hopefully, this was some level of, it was cathartic for a lot of you to kind of talk this game out. There's a lot of fun, a lot of ranting going on. You guys are the best. You guys are the bomb, and we'll be back soon right here on the channel. YouTube.com/BoyGreen25. Thanks, everybody. Enjoy the rest of your night. We'll see you soon.